Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Gaming Stooges Talks podcast. We are the Gaming Stooges.
I'm Jack.
You can call me Cloud.
And I'm Landon.
We hope you enjoyed today's discussion, and if you do, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, following us on Twitch, or joining our Discord. Let's get on with the show.
Guys. NSO. Spooky. For the listeners, I did a bit with a can of an energy drink.
And you said I have dyslexia.
Yes. Today...
Is he okay, Jack? Is he like...
We're talking...
I think he's sick.
Yeah, today... We're going to talk about Nintendo Switch Online. Thankfully, Jack is taking over for the majority of the listing off all of the games that are found on them because my throat is sore. I caught a cold, so we're still gonna truck along though. So Nintendo Switch Online is Nintendo's big subscription service. They do a lot of free games divided by the systems that they have support for. First launched in September 19th, 2018 for the Switch. There's a bunch of different systems that currently have support. You've got NES, you've got Super NES, you've got Game Boy and Game Boy Color. Those are put together because Nintendo likes to do that. You've got Game Boy Advance and N64, but that's for the expansion pass for an extra tier. And there's also the Sega Master System, or not Master System, Mega Drive, Genesis. And coming up with the Switch 2 is actually going to be a new supported system, GameCube. So,
GameCube.
Yeah, bit of a topical discussion, but this service has had almost 7 years to flesh itself out. So we've got a lot of games over the years, and here to talk to us about all of those games is going to be our good pal Jack, because there's so many.
Should we talk about the other features of the Nintendo Switch Online before we get into that? Because there's a couple other things.
Before we jump into the supported games and systems, NSO is not just that. They also have a huge reward system. And if you have NSO, you can, depending on the games you play or just whatever they feel like supporting, you can get points towards different avatars and icons that are exclusive to those members. So I have a unique icon on my profile right now on Switch, which is literally something that you could only have if you have Nintendo Switch Online and bought it when it rotates, because these rewards, they rotate around. So there'll be 1 month or a period of time where it's there's Pokemon themed ones, or there's Mario Kart ones, or there's
once you purchase it, it is available to use to customize whenever you want, not just during the month that it's available to purchase.
So you can only redeem it during that month, but if you do redeem it, you have it forever. So it's pretty cool.
As long as you keep your subscription.
Exactly. As long as you keep your subscription. And if you are subscribed to the expansion pass tier, which I alluded to earlier, which is an extra tier, there's also DLC and other goodies that you can just get for free. That really is depending on what Nintendo decides to support. Nintendo's given away the Booster Course Pass for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. They've given out the expansion pass. I don't know what the name for it is for Animal Crossing New Horizons, and quite a bit of other games. I don't remember all of them off the top of my head. They're going to be coming out with the upgrades for the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 editions. Those will be added to that tier of bonus freebie stuff. If you're subscribed to the tier, you'll just get those for free instead of having to pay extra. So it's pretty cool. You can get a bunch of rewards. There's 2 different forms that you can subscribe. You can subscribe just as a single account, or you can do a family membership, which gives you up to 8 accounts that can all join together and get the same benefits. And as I said before, you can do that with the regular Nintendo Switch Online, which just gives you basic benefits, or Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pass, so you can mix and match. There's technically 4 ways that you can go about it. if you like mix and match those two options for both of those two things. So it's customizable, pretty modular. And one of the biggest things about NSO is the free games that you can stream, because you've got all these different platforms and they come with a bunch of different features. They come with save states, obviously. What do they call them again on the Switch? It's like it's not snapshots, it's not memories. They don't call them just save states, do they? I swear they call them something else.
I do not know, honestly, off the top of my head.
Yeah. There's a couple of different systems will have some like filter effects. They're not like common throughout every system, but like some systems have it. There's also button remapping for some systems where you can like change the buttons around that you're using. Again, not all of them. But we'll break it down based on each system. Talk about the library, how well the emulation works, all that other stuff. Another very big feature that this service has is online multiplayer. For games that have multiplayer, you can actually just like share your game with someone else that's playing it. And
suspend points.
Thank you. I would not have remembered that.
I also forgot.
That is exactly what they called them on
the Switch and look it up.
That's exactly what they called them on the 3DS and Wii U, and I totally forgot about it. Or no, they called them restore points, but still. I don't know why Nintendo calls them the weird things, but yeah. So, Nintendo Switch Online, a bunch of different benefits, but the main thing we're going to be talking about are the games and the systems that they support. We've all played quite a lot of different systems, but Jack, you want to take over from here? And
yeah. So the first system that was added to Nintendo Switch Online was the NES. Of course, they started with the NES. No one is surprised by this. It was first launched on September 19th of 2018, and it was available with 20 launch titles. Those being Balloon Fight, Baseball, Donkey Kong, Double Dragon, Dr. Mario, Excitebike, Ghosts and Goblins, Gradius, Ice Climber, Ice Hockey, The Legend of Zelda, Mario Brothers, Pro Wrestling, River City Ransom, Soccer, Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 3, Tecmo Bowl, Tennis, and Yoshi. This is a pretty good selection to launch with. It has pretty much all of the biggest names. Well, not all of the biggest names, but a lot of the names that you would expect from like a launch selection of NES titles. It is missing
most of the necessities.
It is missing Metroid, which is odd, but it would get added later. Yeah. So
it is missing Metroid. It is missing a few other games, but yeah, we'll get into it. There's a lot of different releases. Yeah. And if a game wasn't here, it was probably added later.
So another thing that they did, and this would be, they started this with the second wave of games that they added, but they had
third,
what they call the SP,
second, yeah.
The SP versions of certain games, and they started that with The Legend of Zelda SP, which was basically a game that started you, or basically it was Zelda, but it started you with like all of the upgrades, if I'm not mistaken. It's different for every game, but basically it just gives you like a kind of bonus to more or less make the game a lot easier.
It will usually open with most of the content unlocked, if not all of it, and a lot of the time. But it'll still somehow have it like with like a clean slate for like actual like gameplay records. It's kind of weird how they do it.
So I'm not going to mention how every SP is different, but I will bring it up if they add an SP because it's, listed. On October 10th, we got, like I said, The Legend of Zelda SP, NES Open Tournament Golf, Solomon's Key, and Super Dodgeball.
Super Dodgeball
from Arc System Works.
Yeah, interestingly, Koei Tecmo, Arc System Works, and for an instance or two, you got Capcom and Konami as like early supporters of putting their games up on the service.
Yeah. Which is pretty interesting. On November 14th of 2018, we got Gradius SP, Metroid, Mighty Bomb Jack, NES Open Tournament Golf SP, but only in Japan for some reason, and Twin B.
I don't know what Twin B is.
I have no clue what Twin B is. I'm pretty sure this Wikipedia article made it up.
It's Twin B, guys.
That's a fake game.
It's two B's.
For some reason,
BB.
I don't know why it's listed here twice, I guess to just differentiate the different regional versions of the game, but it listed is Adventures of Lolo, in North American version, in North America only, and Adventures of Lolo, Japanese version, in Japan only.
Okay.
This was December 12th of 2018. We also had Dr. Mario SP, Metroid SP,
which
in quotations
Ridley Battle,
and Ninja Gaiden and Wario's Woods.
Wario's Woods. That's my game. I didn't play it on this system though. Played on Super Nintendo.
On January 16th of 2019, we would get Blaster Master, Ghosts and Goblins SP, Joy Mech Fight, Ninja Gaiden SP, and Zelda 2 Adventure of Landlord.
Yeah.
I mean Link.
No.
I had it right the first time. Adventure of KJHG53.
Yeah. Love that guy.
On February 13th, we would get Blaster Master SP, Kirby's Adventure, Metroid SP, Mother Brain Battle, Super Mario Bros. 2, the Doki Doki Panic one, not the Japanese Lost Levels one, and
in Japan only.
I'm gonna butcher the fuck out of this name. Supari Ozumo.
I think you got it.
I assume is how that is pronounced.
Close enough.
On March 13th, also in Japan only, we would get, well, I should say they would get Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon and Battle of Light.
Blade of Light.
Blade of Light, Jesus.
That's the game that they released for a limited time, just as a strict separate download in English, and then they got rid of it the same day they got rid of Super Mario 3D All-Stars.
There's a notation here that says a standalone English version of this game was released for purchase for a limited time via the Nintendo eShop in the Americas, Europe, and Australia. It was available from December 4th of 2020 until March 31st of 2021. That's so odd that they would make that a limited time only download.
You can't limit this, bitch.
I have the game on Switch. It was pretty cheap. I think it was $7 or $8 for the download.
Lennon is holding up his Famicom cartridge
copy
for Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon.
It's right there.
Blade of Light.
But anyway,
not the DS version.
Also on March 13th, we would get Kid Icarus, Kirby's Adventure SP, in America only, Star Tropics, in Japan only, Ye Are Kung Fu. Oh, don't show that one, Landon.
It's too bad. I already did. It's right there.
No. He's holding a copy of Shadow Dragon for the Nintendo DS.
That's a bad touch.
And Zelda
Touching
2
is
Adventure
bad.
of Link SP. On, let's see, April 10th, we would get Kid Icarus SP, Punch-Out, Star Soldier, and Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels.
Is that one better?
Just showing off. That one is better, but you're just showing off Fire Emblem games at this point. That's not what this podcast is about.
Yeah,
not
come
strictly
on, man.
Anyway.
Hey, that one's relevant for later.
Yeah,
it is
a lot later.
Yeah.
Lot later.
Foreshadowing.
It's all I'm
keep
good
going,
for.
though, Jack.
On May 15th, we would get in America only Clue Clue Land. Oh, I should also note. Say that when I say in America only, I mean America and PAL regions, but it's quicker to just say America. Western. I should just say Western, I guess.
In the West.
In Japan only, Clue Clue Land, Welcome to New Clue Clue Land, which I think is the same game, if I'm not mistaken. Donkey Kong Jr.
It is the same game.
Star Soldier SP, and Versus Excite Bike. On June 12th, we would get City Connection, Double Dragon 2, The Revenge, Twin B SP. Once again, a game that Konami made up. I'm fairly certain.
That's how video games work, is you make up an IP.
No, but I mean they made it up for the Nintendo Switch Online specifically and pretended like it was a game that always existed.
Do you guys really not know what Twin Bee is?
I've never heard of it, honestly.
Okay.
Okay.
You gonna tell us, or?
Go look at the spoilers for a picture, and I'm sure the image of the thing that it shoots is.
Jack, you keep going.
We'll jog
There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of games.
That looks familiar, yes.
See? There we go, folks.
Alright. Maybe it is real.
Maybe it is made up, though. What do I know? Maybe I doctored that because I work for Konami.
I knew it. July 17th, we would get Donkey Kong 3, Mighty Bomb Jack SP, and Wrecking Crew. On August 21st, we would get Downtown Neketsu March Super Awesome Field Day.
That sounds really awesome.
Gradius SP Second Loop, Kung Fu Heroes, and Vice Project Doom.
Got a Sega game in here.
December 19th.
The Super Awesome Field Day was not released in Western until September 6th of 2023.
Way after the fact.
Yeah, way after the fact.
Almost over 4 years after. Interesting. Okay. On December 19th, we would get Crystallis.
Nice.
Go watch those stream VODs. Famicom Wars in Japan only. Journey to Silius and Route 16 Turbo in Japan only. On February 19th of 2020, we would get Eliminator Boat Duel in America only, or Western only, excuse me. The Mystery of Atlantis, with a notation originally exclusive to Japan, but was released in Western regions on July 4th, 2024. What the fuck? And Shadow of the Ninja, West only. On 4/20 of 2020, on the
we did not get anything.
Huh?
We did not get
anything, but Japan, for the Fire Emblem anniversary, would get Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light SP Medius Battle, and Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light SP Triangle Attack.
Ooh.
So 2 different save file start-off points.
I guess. Which is an odd thing to put out to celebrate Fire Emblem, honestly. But, okay. On May 20th, we would get Rygar. And only Rygar. From this point forward, it's going to be pretty much one date per game. So I'm going to try and name them quickly. July 15th, we would get The Immortal, Western only. September 23rd, we would get SCAT, Special Cybernetic Attack Team.
Gross.
Western only. On December 18th, we would get Nightshade, Western only. And Japan would get Smash Ping Pong. On, February 17th of 2021, we would get Fire and Ice. On May 16th, Ninja Jaja Maru-kun. On July 28th, Super Mario Bros. 3 SP. February 9th of 2022, almost 7 months after Super Mario Bros. 3 SP, we would get Earthbound Beginnings.
Ooh, still gotta play that game. Haven't played it. Classic.
Also known as Mother 1. March 30th, we would get Dig Dug 2 and Mappy Land from Namkai Bando.
Namkai Bando.
That's how you say that.
Yeah. I said it correctly.
Definitely. Sure.
I know what I said. May 26th, 2022, we would get Pinball. On July 21st, we would get Diva Story 6, Imperial of Near... Hold on.
Nursartia?
Nursarsha?
That's a fake game.
That one does not have a link to a Wikipedia page, so I'm going to assume that that is a fake game. from D4 Enterprise.
I'm not even going to pretend it's real, so don't worry about it.
Okay. On March 15th, 2023, we would get Xevious.
That's a real game.
On June 5th, we would get Mystery Tower. On Halloween, we would get Devil World, The Mysterious Murasame Castle. I almost said that wrong. And Ninja Jamaru-kun SP. I don't know why I thought that one was going to be Japan only, but it is not. On February 21st, 2024, we would get RC Pro-Am and Snake Rattle and Roll.
Not released in Japan, and funnily enough, now published by Xbox Game Studios.
Very interesting.
They were all Rare games originally.
Oh yeah, that's right. On July 4th of 2024, we would get Cobra. A lot. We got West only Cobra Triangle, Donkey Kong Jr. Math. In Japan only, Famicom
Mukashibanashi.
I need to like squint. Mukashibanashi Shin Onigashima. In Japan only. Golf. I'm surprised it took them that long to add golf to Nintendo Switch Online. Like, I would have assumed that golf would be a launch title with the NES, honestly.
They had NES Open Tournament Golf, so they figured we don't need to put the regular golf that most people actually played.
I guess so. In Japan only, Gomoku Narabe Renju. Mach Rider. In Japan only, Mahjong. In West only, Solar Jetman. And Urban Champion. And finally, to date, the last NES title on Nintendo Switch Online, Tetris.
On December 12th, 2024.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a lot of
that's a lot of games. Thank you, Nintendo, for the shitload of NES games you gave us.
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right, let's do it again.
I mean,
so
we can
let's talk about the
talk about that and like if there's
the
anything we
NES.
want them to add still.
Yeah, I want to go through like each system and like just talk about how we feel about the library as a whole, and then if there's any games that we want them to add.
I feel like, I mean, it's entirely up to Capcom if they do or not, but I feel like the biggest omission here is Mega Man. I think any of the Mega Man games.
I think this is entirely because they
have the Mega Man Legacy Collection on the eShop, which it makes sense. So, like, they have a product on the market right now that they are trying to sell, and it will sell way less if Nintendo has, you know, the Mega Man games on NSO.
It's the same with Castlevania,
right, exactly.
because there's the couple Castlevania collections out, and like there is not a Castlevania on this list.
Mm-hmm.
True. Yeah. There's a few series that like are missing more of their games. Like I know that we have the Pixel remasters, but like it'd be cool to have like OG Final Fantasy 1 on here, Dragon Warrior.
Yeah.
Like I know we have remakes and remasters coming, but like those aren't the original versions. It wouldn't conflict. We'll see later they put original versions of games they had remakes for. I think this is probably more so just Square was not interested. This is probably much less Nintendo not wanting it. It's more like Square's probably like, no, we don't want it.
Fuck Square.
I wonder, it makes me wonder how much like Nintendo pays licensing for these to be on this service to these companies.
Yeah, because like something that may have been kind of apparent is outside of Nintendo, there's not a whole lot of third parties here.
There's a decent handful. It just kind of depends.
There's a handful, but like
you have Arc System Works, Bandai Namco, Capcom with Ghosts and Goblins only. You got City Connection, Culture Brain, D4 Enterprise,
Sunsoft, Koei Tecmo.
Konami has some stuff. Natsume Inc. So like you have some. It's just like yeah, like Sega only has, well, Sega at this
A
time
lot of these,
didn't have a whole lot, so
as of the time of this podcast airing, a lot of these only have like a couple games tops. There's only like a select few that have a sizable catalog on here. So
I will say, speaking of games that are in collections, SNK has a collection available for the Switch, which Crystallis is on, but they still have it on this, so I don't see what the issue is.
Yeah,
Like-
there's not really a whole lot that I can think of that's like they should really add this game to NES and
I do feel like there's some games, even if they have like collections like Mega Man and Castlevania, they should like pick like one game or two, and just put it on NSO and be like, okay, now if somebody's interested, they play that game and they like it, then they can go hunt down the collection and buy it because then they're interested in more of them. Like I feel like that'd be like a symbiotic relationship if they did that. And there's enough subscribers where like if they put that out there and then somebody latches onto it, like they could get some extra sales on their collections that they have released.
I'd say that would
At
be
least that,
smart.
in my opinion.
Put Mega Man 2 and like Castlevania 1 as like examples.
Like it doesn't have to be like all of the games, but like just do what they did for like the NES Classic, like the actual hardware that we talked about on a previous episode, and just like you just put one or two major games up there. Just do it. Why not? But yeah, we already said, fuck Square. That's like the major one for me. It's like Square doesn't want to put any games up here. Fuck them. Okay.
Yeah, no Square or Enix games from this time period makes it feel not as complete as it should be, but other than that, like, and then, yeah, like we said,
there's
Capcom and Konami not having Mega Man and Castlevania, respectively, but you still have a really good selection. We have most of the first-party stuff you could hope for, including some of the Rare developed stuff now. Yeah, I think from the NES perspective, like, we have, like, most of what we're going to see going forward.
Yeah, true. And it was kind of like, you could hear when Jack was going through the dates, like, they've been adding games, for the most part, less and less frequently. So we're probably not going to see a whole lot unless they decide to do, like, a big drop of, like, a ton of games all at once, like they did back in July. But I mean, even then, like, yeah, this is probably as much as we're gonna get. But I mean, to be honest, for something that you're subscribing to for $20 a year at base level, just having it for free, like, the catalog's pretty good. There's enough games up there to like jump in, and like if like say you got a Switch and you didn't get any games, you just got a subscription for NSO, and like maybe you got one game, you'd still have plenty to play just by getting at the NES app. So it's good enough. But
all right, are we ready to move on?
Go for it.
Not too long after.
Not that long after, about a year after the NES launched, on September 4th, 2019, we would get the Super Nintendo on NSO, and that launched with Brawl Brothers, Breath of Fire, Demon's Crest, F-Zero, Joe and Mac 2, Lost in the Tropics, Kirby's Dream Course, Kirby's Dream Land 3, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Pilot Wings, Smash Tennis, Star Fox, Stunt Race FX, Super EDF Earth Defense Force, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, Super Metroid, Super Puyo Puyo 2, Super Soccer, but it's been crossed off and has been removed as of March 28th, 2025, which is really funny, and Super Tennis.
One note,
So
Smash Tennis was exclusive to Japan originally, came to the West on NSO February 19th, 2020.
And Super Tennis...
Smash Tennis.
So Smash Tennis was originally exclusive to Japan, and Super Tennis was originally exclusive to the West, and Japan would get that on September 23rd, 2020.
Okay, so like we each had one of the games and the other region got the other one later. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I will say right out of the gate before we move on, that's a pretty crazy list for like the first initial drop.
I would say this is even better than NES because you have
Oh, yeah.
you have basically the main. There's
Dude, you have Metroid, Zelda, Mario, Kirby,
and Mario
Yeah.
Kart.
Not only Mario, but like the two big Mario games for the system.
World
Well,
and Yoshi's Island and Mario Kart. Like, you've got that. And then some pretty good third-party support with Breath of Fire,
Breath of
Demon's
Fire
Crest,
is great.
and then you have
Star Fox,
Super Ghouls and
Pilot
Ghosts.
Wings.
Yeah, so like solid
F-Zero.
lineup for a first drop.
and the best competitive two-player game to ever exist, Kirby's Dream Course.
Oh my goodness. Let's talk about Kirby's Dream Course in detail for the next
go ahead.
13 hours.
Okay, maybe not that long.
Oh.
But this is a game that has a lot of meaning for you guys.
I fucking love Kirby's Dream Course. It's funny too because like I never really like thought that much about it. Like I used to think like, oh, Kirby Golf, whatever, before I like ever actually played it. And then once I did play it, I'm like, wait, this rules actually. You just need to have a second person to play with for it to be interesting.
Yeah, and the fun thing about how Switch Online works is you can switch the player number for like you can reassign the player. So like
Yeah.
if I am player 1 and Jack is player 2, you can just switch that. So like if you lose a game, just pause, switch, and then wait, I won. Haha.
Just like you did.
Just like I did, baby.
Go. There's a highlight for that on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I don't think the whole VOD was saved, but
No, but that highlight was perfect.
yeah. Yeah, you really can't ask for that much more from a launch lineup, honestly.
And yet,
especially considering like two of the big names that we would get in the very next wave.
I would say the biggest thing we are missing is like
Donkey Kong
Country, which spoiler comes later.
We'll get there.
Yeah, but it took them a little bit of time.
Yeah. So on December 12th of 2019, we would get Breath of Fire 2 with a notation originally exclusive to Western regions, but was eventually released in Japan on February 19th, 2020, just like Super Tennis.
That's interesting that would come over here first.
Yeah.
It's an RPG.
Sorry, not Super Tennis, Smash Tennis, but that was it. Regions flipped. Never mind. Breath of Fire 2, Kirby Superstar, Star Fox 2, which was originally exclusive to the Super Nintendo Mini that they put out in 2017. Because that was a totally unreleased game that they were just like, oh yeah, here you go. We put it on a limited edition mini console that only like 5,000 people will own. So it's cool that they added it.
Mm-hmm.
And Super Punch-Out, which also notation, originally exclusive to Western regions, but was eventually released in Japan on May 20th of 2020.
That I can see, because Punch-Out has always had a bit more of like a Western following.
Yep. On February 19th, we would get Poppin' Twin B, the sequel to Twin B, I assume. Oh, wait, that was the only thing on that day. Excuse me.
Yep.
On May 20th of 2020, we would get, in the West only, Operation Logic Bomb, Panel Depon, which was internationally released as Tetris Attack in 1996. This marks the first time the original game gets a worldwide release.
Now, some of these games, like, they're not translated, just so it's it's out there. But it is genuinely like some of these games the first time they've ever been playable without like importing them to like Western audiences. Like they just put some like literally Japanese exclusive games previously out there. So it's really cool that what this service did.
Yep. And Wild Guns, which was also originally Western exclusive, but was later. I'm not gonna say the exact date for like when a game like
Just
too
it was
much to
originally
say.
exclusive to one region.
Originally
and
Western
came out later.
exclusive, but Japan would get it later. On July 15th of 2020, we would get Donkey Kong Country. In West only, Natsume Championship Wrestling, and in Japan only, unfortunately, Shin Megami Tensei.
Cowards,
Atlas, you cowards. Atlas,
Cowards.
you cowards.
Cowards.
Give it
Just
to us.
give us the game. Don't even bother translating it. Just give it to us.
Give us the game. We can
we
play
will-
it. We don't give a
we
shit.
We will Google Lens the shit out of that game if we have to.
Yeah.
Just let us have it.
On September 23rd, or 23rd, sorry, just September 3rd. God, my dyslexia is showing through. September 3rd, 2020, we would get Super Mario All-Stars. On September 23rd,
There we
for
go.
real this time,
For real
we would
stuff.
get Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest. Japan only, Fire Emblem, Mystery of the Emblem.
Cowards, Nintendo.
Cowards.
Mario's Super Picross, which was originally Western exclusive, but Japan would get it later, and The Peacekeepers, which was a Western only. On December 18th, we would get Amazing Hebereke, aka Euphoria the Saga.
Oh, that's
No, this
right.
one was originally Sugoi, which was the fighting game.
Oh,
wait.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
but
okay,
it's
okay.
part of the Euphoria franchise.
Universe.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
was originally Japan exclusive, but America, or the Western regions, would get it almost 4 years later.
April 12th.
Oh, that's right. It did take them a while, huh?
Also on December 18th, Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. I almost called her Dickie Kong, excuse me.
Dickie
Dicky.
The Ignition Factor.
Oh,
Oh,
God,
boy, this
this-
one's really hard. Thanks, Arc System Works. Kunio-kun no Dodgeball Daio Zenin Shugo.
Good job. That was good.
Thank you. Originally Japan exclusive, but the Western regions would get it 4 years later.
See, follow Arc System Works example, people. Just don't give a shit. Just put it out there.
Yeah.
Or
We don't
Sunsoft.
care. We'll play it.
Yeah.
Super-
Sunsoft does the same thing too.
Super Valis 4.
Yep.
I assume it's Valis and not Valise or Vali. I have no clue. And Tough Enough, known in Japan as Dead Dance, which was originally Western exclusive, but Japan would get it later. On February 17th, 2021, we would get Doomsday Warrior, again, Japan or Western exclusive, Japan would get it later. Prehistoric Man, Western exclusive. Psycho Dream, and Shin Megami Tensei 2,
Cowards.
Japan exclusive.
Cowards.
Cowards. Speaking of cowards,
Nintendo.
on May 26th of 2021, Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War,
Cowards.
Japan exclusive.
Cowards. Nintendo.
Joe and Mac, Magical Drop 2, Spanky's Quest in Western only.
Nintendo
Super
can't
Base-
stop me.
This man
Super-
collecting the physical copies. Were those expensive, by the way? I mean, I can't. I have to assume they weren't too expensive because Famicom.
These
or
ones weren't.
Japan.
I think Tharsia 776 is going to be the most expensive of the three, but
I've heard
these
that.
two in particular were not.
Excuse me. Super Baseball Simulator 1000, originally Western exclusive, Japan would get it later. And
Oh,
Super
that is
Mario Kart.
1,000. I thought it was 1.000.
Oh, it is 1. I'm sorry. It is 1.000, not 1000. My bad. I guess technically in Japan
it is. Yeah, because
because it's baseball,
yeah,
1000 is
1,000.
representative of because when
Yeah,
someone
no,
is,
you're right. You're right. When they
It-
pass
it's baseball.
1,000,
Yeah. Super Mario Kart SP, not just Super Mario Kart.
that one unlocks the special cup. That's all I know.
July 28th, 2021, we would get Bomboozle. I've never heard of this game. I'm looking at the cover art and it looks hilarious. Claymates, Western only.
Claymates. I rented that game way long time
Jelly
ago.
Boy, Western only.
He's punching with his dick in the cover.
He is punching with his dick in the cover art. And Japan only, Shin Megami Tensei If.
Cowards.
Cowards. February 9th, 2022, we would get Earthbound, finally,
Yeah.
and Super Metroid SP. March 30th, 2022, we would get Earthworm Jim 2.
Oh, they
Western
did.
only.
They did put Earthbound Beginnings and Earthbound out at the same time.
That makes sense.
I went back. Yeah, I went back to check. They both came out on the same day. It's just 2 different systems.
All right. Western only Earthworm Jim 2. Harvest Moon, originally a Japan exclusive, but Western would get it later. I keep wanting to just say America because that's the region we live in.
Welcome to America, Europe.
That is
Yeah.
the West.
Super Mario World SP and Super Punch-Out SP. On May 26, 2022, we would get Congo's Caper, Western only, Rival Turf, and Umihara Kawase, Japan only. On June 9th, we would get SPs for 3 Kirby titles, all the 3 ones that are on there previously, Superstar, Dream Course, and Dreamland 3. July 21st, we would get Fighter's History, Kirby's Avalanche, interestingly enough, Western only, and Kirby's Star Stacker.
I don't remember if Japan ever got a release for Kirby's Avalanche because they just had Puyo Puyo.
Yeah, they did
I
not.
guess that's true.
That was only ever a North American, European release.
Yeah,
I mean, but at the same time, why not put it on Japan Switches?
That's true.
Yeah.
Cowards.
It is
for
just
Japan
Puyo
this time.
Puyo, but why not? Japan loves that shit. And Star Stacker was a Japan exclusive originally, but West would get it later. The sole release on March 15th of 2023 is Side Pocket.
Got
a
yourself
pool
a billiards game.
And that was the only Super Nintendo game we would get, period, in 2023. We wouldn't get anything again until almost an entire year later, on February 21st, 2024, where we got Battletoads in Battle Maniacs, originally Western only, but Japan would get it later, and Killer Instinct, which was Western only.
Oh yeah, that was the same day as the other Xbox Game Studios drops on NES as well.
Yep.
So Xbox Game Studios dropping a bunch of games on us all at once.
Another one that's going to test my Japanese. On April 12th, 2024, Japan exclusive would get Marvelous Mohitotsu no Takarajima.
Cool.
Sure. And as well as Super R-Type and Wrecking Crew 98. On September 18th of 2024, there was Angelique in Japan only. Battletoads / Double Dragon, West only. Big Run, and Cosmo Gang the Puzzle. Cosmo Gang the Puzzle. It's a falling block puzzle game.
Oh, cool.
And two more waves of drops for both this year. On January 24th, we got Fatal Fury 2, Super Ninja Boy, and Sute Hakun. I assume I'm pronouncing that correctly. And on March 28th, we got Nobunaga's Ambition, Lord of Darkness, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 4, Wall of Fire, and Uncharted Waters New Horizons, all 4 of which are Koei Tecmo games.
And that is so far everything on Super Nintendo, but
that is it, yes.
That is so I just noticed, we can talk about some of the glaring omissions from companies that we already talked about in the NES section, but I also found there was no Bomberman games on here.
That is odd, yeah.
No Bomberman. Obviously, like we talked about earlier, there's no Square or Enix games on here, which is a damn shame because the Super Nintendo was like an RPG machine with some of the best RPGs of all time, and not a single one is on here.
I think like the only game, like some of the only games that I could think of that are like really missing here are games that would be pretty much impossible as far as like licensing goes, like, you know, Aladdin, Goof Troop, The Lion King.
Yeah.
Shit, there was another one I was thinking of and I lost it.
Toy Story?
Turtles in Time.
Turtles in Time.
At least a lot of those, Goof Troop not included, have, like, those companies have put out collections. You have the Disney, like, classic.
There was the Disney collection that had Lion King and Aladdin, both versions of Aladdin.
Yeah. And then they've added some, like, Jungle Book to it, I believe. And then you had the Turtles had the Cowabunga collection, which had all of the old Turtles games. So
yeah. So there are, with unfortunately Goof Troop excluded, there are versions of those games out there. It's a shame because like Goof Troop would be like a perfect game for Nintendo Switch Online because there's like no way that Goof Troop will ever be remade and have like a dedicated online server to go with it. So
yeah,
like
just
to have like
there.
online multiplayer for Goof Troop would be so sick.
But yeah, it sucks though because like you not only would you have to go through Capcom who published the game, you'd obviously have to go through Disney who own the rights to Goofy and X and like be like, okay, which I mean, Disney, it just seems like Nintendo doesn't want to go through those hoops apparently. So
which I kind of don't blame them for.
Yeah. I will say when you look at Nintendo's output on this thing, insane, really good. Just like there's hardly anything missing here. In fact, I can not really think of anything Nintendo specific that's missing here, except for like stuff that they only put out in Japan that would have been great to have over here too. But I mean,
yeah,
other than that, like,
I mean,
I'm drawing a blank.
They
got pretty much everything.
Star Fox 2 on this thing.
Yeah.
So
which
like they put
crazy.
They had an insane output. But third parties, at least comparatively, just because of the game library on the Super Nintendo, I just wish there was a little more, but like there's a lot here still.
I am surprised they haven't put out the third Fire Emblem for Japan.
Yeah. I mean, I heard there was supposedly rumors that it was getting a remake, but like I'm not seeing it, and like until that thing materializes, it's fake. So I'm surprised that they didn't put it on here.
And I mean, even if they're going to do a remake, they can still put out the original for the system.
As we'll get to soon, it doesn't matter. They do it anyway for a couple of other games.
Yep. Good selection overall, but we're gonna move on.
You don't have any like mentions of like games that you wish were on here?
Not, I mean, like I said, pretty much just the licensed games that would be pretty much impossible to get a hold of. But there's not really a whole lot that I can think of that's missing here. I mean, you mentioned Bomberman already, so yeah.
Did you have anything to add, Landon?
No, not for this system, at least.
Okay, yeah. So, pretty solid library, at least.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like, just give us Chrono Trigger.
I mean, tell Square to get off their asses and do something about it.
Hey, Square. Eat dick.
Hey, Square. I have a message for you. Alright, we're going to move on. Game Boy and Game Boy Color were added to Nintendo Switch Online on February 8th, 2023. And that launched with Alone in the Dark, The New Nightmare, Western only, Game & Watch Gallery 3, Gargoyle's Quest, go watch those stream VODs, Kirby's Dream Land, go watch that LP, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX, go watch that LP, Metroid 2 Return of Samus, go watch that LP, Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins. Go watch that LP. Tetris, Wario Land 3, and in Japan only, Yakuman.
This is pretty solid.
Looks like a mahjong game.
It's
good. Kind of weird. We'd have to wait for spoilers. We would have to wait a while for Super Mario Land 1. Like, I would have expected that to come out at the same time, but like, other than that, like, you got the big hitters here again. You got Kirby, Zelda, Metroid, Mario, and Tetris. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And spoilers, but it's a while before we get to Super Mario Land 1, which is interesting. But on March 15th of 2023, we would get Burger Time Deluxe, which is interesting that Burger Time was added for the Game Boy NSO and not the NES NSO, which had a Burger Time game. I don't know. And Kirby's Dream Land 2. On June 5th, we would get Blaster Master, Enemy Below, and Kirby Tilt and Tumble. On
They
July
had to
20th,
they have to code the game to get that to work on NSO, by the way. Because Kirby Tilt and Tumble was made with a
motion.
Yeah, a motion thing built into the cartridge.
Yeah. On July 27th, we would get the Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons.
There we go, baby. Let's go, Jets. Love the Mets.
Let's go, Jets. Love the Mets.
What about the Nets?
Never heard of them. That's fake.
Okay. August 8th, we would get Pokemon TCG.
Hell yeah, brother.
The only Pokemon game you will ever see.
Yeah.
From
Dude,
for Game Boy on this list.
We will. So, spoilers. They'll give us any fucking Pokemon game we want as long as it's not a main series game.
Literally.
I have no fucking clue why not. It's not like Gens 1 and 2 are on the market right now. Even the remakes are decades old at this point. Like, literally, Fire Red and Leaf Green are 21 years old.
I blame the PAL region in the game corner.
It literally, I think, is the reason.
We don't have to release this in Europe.
Yeah, I mean, fuck Europe. Who cares?
Just give it to North America.
Yeah. North America, Japan, we don't have any issues with gambling.
Yeah, we love gambling. We put it in all of our sports ads.
Yeah.
On September 6th, 2023, Western regions only would get Quest for Camelot. Does that say Warner Brothers on the box art? It is, yeah.
Nintendo published that game. I tried playing that game for 5 minutes.
Oof. Sorry.
It is sluggish, and it is a game for the Game Boy Color.
On Halloween, we would get, of 2023, we would get Castlevania Legends.
We're finally getting a Castlevania. Cool. It just took them until 2023 and
took fucking long enough.
A Game Boy release.
Yeah. On March 12th of 2024, we got Dr. Mario, Mario Golf, and Mario Tennis.
Mario Golf is a good one.
Surprised it took him that long to add it, honestly. On May 15th, we got Alleyway, Baseball, and that's another Japan exclusive. Another Japan exclusive one. Kairu no Tame ni Kane wa Naru. Officially translated as The Frog for Whom the Bell Tolls.
It's kind of sad
amazing.
That we haven't gotten that.
Don't tell Lars Ulrich about that. Let's see. And Super Mario Land. Finally. Nice. Why did it take him that long to put Super Mario Land out? An entire fucking year after it launched. Like, is there actually a reason why it took so long?
Just 'cause.
Did they just think that because we had 6 golden coins that we would be happy with just that? And like, they don't need the first game. Who cares about the first game?
We would be happy.
I was happy.
But still, it's like, it's a Game Boy staple. I'm just surprised that they didn't add it way sooner.
It is.
I mean, they had Super Mario World and Yoshi's Island at launch for the Super Nintendo. There's no reason why they couldn't do that as well for Super Mario Land.
But it only took them an extra year, but we eventually got our 6 out of 10 game.
It's true. Hey, Capcom has a few games that they put out on June 7th, 2024.
A few games.
A few games. We got Mega Man, Dr. Wily's Revenge, and 2 through 5.
So all 5 Mega Man games
All
for the Game Boy.
5 Mega Man games for... Yeah.
And this is entirely because they don't have an actual collection for these. If they did, we wouldn't have gotten them.
Yep. I'm shocked that they would space these 4 days apart. On November 22nd and November 26th, we would get Donkey Kong Land and Donkey Kong Land 2, respectively. And then, just like a week after that, on December 4th, we would get Donkey Kong Land 3. For some reason, though, Donkey Kong Land 3 in the West was just the Game Boy version, and in Japan, it was the Game Boy Color version.
That's because in the West, we got it on the Game Boy, and in Japan, they got it on the Game Boy Color.
But who fucking cares? It's Donkey Kong. Just put both versions on there. In both regions. Yeah. I don't know, man. It doesn't really make much sense to me, but there's only a few left. December 12th, we got Tetris DX. And on March 7th of 2025, we got Donkey Kong 94 and Mario's Picross.
Okay.
Pleasing Landon exclusively.
I mean, Donkey Kong 94 fucking rules.
Donkey Kong 94 fucking rules. This system, I have a lot of issues with. Now, we're only like 3 years into this system being available. Like, we're about to start the 3rd year of this system being like included in the service. But I still have like fucking issues. Where's Radar Mission?
Yeah, so there's a lot of like staple like launch era Game Boy games that literally Nintendo published. Nowhere to be found here yet.
Yeah. F1 Race. Ones
Solar
that are
Striker.
Yeah, Solar Striker would be awesome on this thing. Sword of Hope 1 and 2. Sword of Hope 2, which was on Virtual Console, Game Boy Virtual Console for 3DS. Like,
who published that game again?
Why would you ask me questions? Stop that. But then like, what about
That's publisher Seika Corporation. Seika.
Yeah.
Developer Kemco. I don't see why they couldn't do that. I'm pretty sure Nintendo could talk to them.
What about the Game & Watch Gallery 1 and 2? Why are those not on this? They only have 3. Did we bring up? Did they release Kid Icarus for this fucking thing?
Yeah, it was. Oh wait, no, they didn't.
No.
So like
the Kid Icarus game for the Game Boy is nowhere.
I mean, isn't the Game Boy Kid Icarus game famously dog shit?
Yeah, but still, like this is supposed to be like a collection. Like, hey, these are games that we want you to fucking. Jack, they put Balloon Fight for the NES on the NES service.
Yeah, they clearly don't care about quality.
So who cares? It's more of a just let's have our library versus let's very much like, you know, cherry pick the library. In my opinion, that's the way I would look at it. Mole Mania, not here.
Yeah, no Mole Mania.
Quicks is not here. Yeah. I assume we'll get like Wario Land 2 maybe.
I'm looking. Am I seeing it? There's no Kirby's Pinball Land or Pokemon Pinball.
Nope.
Like, those are 2 staple games for the Game Boy. Like, at least pick one of them.
Yeah.
There is still time.
Yeah.
There is still time.
So,
and
because like Landon said, we are
them.
like at the beginning of year 3 of the Game Boy being on NSO.
I am being picky,
so
but
they've
like
had much less time.
they have like outside, I feel like, I don't know, like the Donkey Kong Land drop late last year in 2024 was like super nice. Even if it was spread out, it was like nice to like have the Donkey Kong Land games. So let's see. As is, it's an okay library, but there's still a lot I want. I will say having Gargoyle's Quest day one, fucking nice. But, you know, keep it coming. Like, literally, keep pumping these fucking things out, Nintendo. You have enough fucking shit to release as is.
Yeah, Nintendo, like you mentioned pretty much all the games I would have said Nintendo should be getting on and putting out. I think that, like, because the thing is if it hasn't become blatantly obvious, they like to drip feed these games. So they are not trying to put tons of games out at once, for the most part. So hopefully they remember to drip feed out all those ones that Landon mentioned so that this library gets fleshed out. As far as like stuff I would like to see, I mean, I pretty much said everything. I could just go on like a 30-second rant yet again on how Square has put like nothing on here. And I mean, I guess it's a little bit more understandable this time that there's no Final Fantasy Legend, because they actually like did a collection of actual games, I believe, or am I thinking of a different collection?
No,
they did do Final Fantasy Legend. So like that's not the same as like having a remake or a remaster. Like they put the actual games. So like I guess this is similar to Capcom, where like with the Mega Man on NES, it's like, but still just put one out there. Just put one of the games out. Put the first one. It's like the worst one anyway. Just put the first one out there. Just let it have the one thing.
Tease us with it. Tickle our ball sack.
Yeah. Make us want to invest in the collection. But yeah, it's fine.
Okay. So
should we just
that was
break?
So yeah,
break time.
Break time? Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, we could do break time. So I'll close this section here and say that was all stuff that you get for just the base level of NSO, like not the expansion pass. And this is whether you're part of the family plan or not. So as long as you just get a Nintendo Switch Online subscription, you get all of that. So, I mean, those three systems as is, pretty good. Pretty solid.
Like I said, Game Boy needs a little work, but NES and Super Nintendo at this point, later. Just because they've been around for so long, like, we're doing pretty good there.
There's not a whole lot more you can do with those systems without Nintendo having to like yank a third party by the arm and like be like, put your game on there, do it. So yeah, we'll take a break here for some like housekeeping. So yeah, Jack, you want to tell us what we've all been doing on the Twitches?
On twitch.com/GamingStooges, twitch.yeah. We have been streaming. We're still doing Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. We're still doing it. We're still at it every Tuesday. Recently, I started The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap.
Yeah.
Just started that one last week. Gonna do another stream of that tomorrow. Cloud is still doing Final Fantasy IV Pixel Remaster.
By the time this goes out to other platforms, hopefully should be finishing that up.
And Landon is doing Dragon Quest Heroes, The World Tree's Woe, and The Wipe Woe. I don't know why, it's just, that's the way to say it.
It's the best way to say it. The only way to say it.
Let's see. We have a Discord. Join our Discord. We have a Patreon, where you can subscribe to our Patreon and receive exclusive the Silver Stooge tier, $3 a month. You can vote on polls. You can decide our future content. For $6 a month, you are at the Silver Stooge tier, where you get a shout out to our only Silver Stooge at the moment, still Pixel Vixen. Thank you. Where you get access to exclusive content. Currently, is Clubhouse still our most recent Gold Tier Stooge video?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We haven't
go
done
watch
our
that.
May one yet.
Yeah. Look forward to our episode for May, whatever it may be. Is there anything else that needs to be said?
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay,
Let's
cool.
let's jump back in. So the Nintendo Switch Online service, as we mentioned, also has an expansion pass tier. So if you subscribe to that as an individual, it's $30 extra. If you're part of the family plan, I think it's still $30 extra or $40 extra. I can't remember the exact amount. I don't remember how much the family membership for like just the base Nintendo Switch Online is. Oh wait, I think it's $35 a year, so it's actually $45 extra. But anyway, they added a bunch of other systems that you can get stuff for. Yeah. Are you guys looking that up right now?
What?
The pricing of the Nintendo Switch Online tiers? I thought I saw like someone looking something up. Or her. But anyway,
no, actually,
Jack can take it over from here. We've got a bunch more systems to cover that are part of this expansion pass.
On the expansion pass, the first one. Oh, I see. The first one was the Nintendo 64, originally launching on September 23rd, 2021. That was when it was announced. It was added on October 25th, 2021. It helps if I read instead of just looking at specific dates.
Both this and the next system were revealed and actually released at the same time. The next one would be Sega Genesis, by the way. But they were both added as like part of this expansion pass, because I think that was like part of their announcement for the expansion pass.
Yeah, they were initial expansion because originally it was NES, Super Nintendo. As you know, those were the first two systems, and then they went and introduced the expansion pass and all of that's features, and they introduced 64 and Genesis. And then 2 years after that, they introduced Game Boy at the regular tier, and then Game Boy Advance at the expansion pass tier.
Correct.
Yeah. So, 64.
Anyway, the 64 launched on October 25th with Dr. Mario 64 in the West only, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Mario Kart 64, Mario Tennis, Sin and Punishment, Star Fox 64, Super Mario 64, Winback, and Yoshi's Story. What the fuck is Winback doing here in this launch lineup? It feels so out of place with everything else.
Koei Tecmo just wanted to be part. You know, they're really happy to be here.
A lot of these they really added like one game at a time on a lot for the 64. On December 10th, we would get Paper Mario. On January 20th, 2022, we would get Banjo-Kazooie. Let's see. On February 25th, we would get The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask. Go watch that stream, thoughts. On March 11th, we would get F-Zero X.
A lot of these are like roughly a month apart.
Yeah. On April 15th, we got Mario Golf. On May 20th, we got Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards.
Yeah.
On June 24th, we got Pokemon Snap.
Yeah.
On July 15th, Japan would get Custom Robo and Custom Robo V2.
Cowards.
And Western audiences only, we would get the most important game on the entire pack, Pokemon Puzzle League.
Cowards for not putting it on in Japan, even though
give it to Japan too. It's got all the anime characters and shit. Who cares if it has the English voice acting? I'm gonna win.
That's important.
I'm upset that we have not gotten Custom Robo.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
weird.
What the fuck, Nintendo? on August 19th, we got Wave Race 64. On October 13th, we got Pilot Wings 64. On November 2nd, we got Mario Party and Mario Party 2. On January 27th, 2023, we got GoldenEye 007.
Interestingly, despite the fact that this was a rare game, Nintendo does own the publishing rights still to this one, although it did take them a little bit of time to get it out there because they don't exclusively have rights for this. They had to MacGyver it, but...
And GoldenEye was originally a Western exclusive, but Japan would get it later. On April 12th, we got Pokemon Stadium. On August 8th, Pokemon Stadium
4
2.
months later.
4 months later, I understand drip feeding and giving people a little bit at a time to have things to look forward to, but 4 months apart for Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon Stadium 2
with nothing in between is
with nothing in between. Yeah, it's odd to me. On August 30th, we got Excitebike 64. On October 27th, we got Mario Party 3. On November 30th, we got Jet Force Gemini, originally Japan exclusive, but it says here, originally exclusive to Japan, but was eventually released in Western regions on December 8th. 8 days later.
Oh, that's not an eventually. That was just it was just a little delay.
Yeah.
In fact, December 8th is the very next drop.
The very next drop, which we got 1080 Snowboarding and Harvest Moon 64. In February 21st, 2024, we got Blast Core, originally Western exclusive, but Japan would get it later. On April 24th, both exclusive to Western audiences,
Japan
we
gets
got
nothing.
Extreme G and Iggy's Wrecking Balls.
Gross. Take it back.
Take it back. Make Japan have Iggy's Wrecking Balls too. They deserve to know what it's like.
Iggy's Wrecking Balls.
I played Iggy's Wrecking Balls for 15 minutes while I was waiting for Landon to show up before a stream a few weeks ago, and it's awful. It's really bad. On June 18th, we got Perfect Dark and Turok Dinosaur Hunter, which was originally Western exclusive, but Japan would get it later. On October 25th, we got Banjo-Tooie. And on October 29th, we got Shadow Man, which is a Western exclusive, and Turok 2 Seeds of Evil, originally Western exclusive, but Japan would get it later. And then on January 31st, 2025, we got Ridge Racer 64, Western exclusive. And so far, that is everything.
Guys,
Nintendo 64.
Where the hell is Buck Bumble?
Where the fuck is Buck? Right about now, it's time to rock with the Biggity Buck Bumble. Where the fuck is Buck Bumble, Nintendo?
It's in this tub of Tillamook ice cream, chocolate chip cookie dough that I've been eating for the last month and a half.
Damn.
Somewhere in there.
Nice.
You just have to go digging.
Ubisoft published Buck Bumble. Ubisoft, stop being cowards. Give us Buck Bumble on NSO.
So, I will say, N64 catalog, for being about 3.5 years old, it's okay. There's some really glaring omissions here, but they have some really big hitters, but then they're also just completely missing some other stuff.
I have to imagine that they have more coming, and that they're just they're waiting until
really
the Switch 2 comes out to just start putting more 64 games on NSO.
It's nice to have the Zeldas, Mario Kart 64. It's cool to have Star Fox 64, Mario 64. Mario Golf is good. Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2 and Pokemon Snap are good. Pokemon Puzzle League. Once again, we can have every fucking Pokemon game on here as long as it's not a main series game.
Yep.
Having the Banjo games, that's awesome. But there's no Diddy Kong Racing.
There's no Diddy Kong Racing.
There's no Quest 64.
There's no Quest
I want to
64.
play Quest 64.
There's no Donkey Kong 64.
There's no Donkey Kong 64. There's some really weird omissions on here.
Yeah.
I have to imagine this is like a planned drip feed sort of situation.
I would love Diddy Kong Racing on NSO.
That would go so hard online.
Literally the only thing I can think of that like is keeping them from putting it on NSO is because Conker is in the game, and Conker is owned by Rare, which is owned by Microsoft.
Yeah.
But at the same time we have Banjo, so like what difference does it make?
And like Xbox has shown they're eager to like put stuff out there for Nintendo's service. Like,
yeah. I don't understand. We deserve Diddy Kong Racing.
We do. The world would be a better place with Diddy Kong Racing on NSO.
It really would.
I think the other big one is like there was some pretty good Bomberman games for the 64.
Oh yeah, those two. I don't know how Nintendo would feel about putting an M-rated game on NSO, but Conker's Bad Fur Day is another game that
they would have a specific like M-rated like download for
app for this specific system.
Yeah. So they have M-rated titles for it.
So yeah, give us Conker's Bad Fur Day.
I'm trying to think of like
I mean, they have Perfect Dark, so like yeah, just
I
fucking do it.
I agree with Al. We do deserve a new Diddy Kong Racing.
We do.
I'm trying to think of the Nintendo specific stuff that were like they publish Cruisin' USA and Cruisin' World, but I don't see that coming. Hey You Pikachu. I doubt that we would get that.
I don't think we'll ever get that unless they like reproduce the microphone.
Do you think we'll ever get Kobe Bryant in NBA courtside?
For multiple reasons, no.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. The biggest issue is the 64's library is pretty small.
Yeah, it's not a huge library.
No OG Smash Brothers.
No OG Smash Brothers. Ogre Battle 64.
I'm honestly surprised that they haven't put Smash Brothers on here yet.
Yeah, and especially because like the first two Smash Brothers games, it's not like there's any. Okay, I guess Melee because of some of the trophies, but like there's, I don't know what would be a blockade for them putting that game up there.
No clue, honestly.
Yeah, so it's like for what the 64 overall has to offer, like it has a chunk of it.
Yeah, I mean, it has a lot of the big hitters. It just has some weird glaring omissions, but like for what the 64 has, there's like some of the best games that the system is known for are here and accounted for.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, Diddy Kong Racing is like a big one.
I will say I don't have anything to say this time about Square because Square completely deserted this system and didn't put anything on it.
Fuck Square.
Yeah.
I think there was like 2 Enix games though, so fuck Square anyway.
Yeah. All right. And any other thoughts on N64? Or we want to move on to Mega Drive, Genesis.
Keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
We're moving on to Genesis, baby.
Let's find out what Genesis does.
Genesis was launched on September. Oh wait, no. God damn it. October 25th, 2021. Same day. I almost made the exact same mistake again. And at launch, we got Castlevania Bloodlines, Contra Hardcore. It's Hardcore, C-O-R-P-S. In America, or in Western only, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Echo the Dolphin, Golden Axe, Gunstar Heroes, Musha, Phantasy Star 4.
Yeah. That's how
in Japan only, Puyo Puyo, which that is one instance where I would say, okay, that makes sense. Mean Bean America only. Puyo Puyo Japan only.
The cowards should have just done both on all territories,
Yeah.
though.
They really should, but whatever. We got Ristar, Shining Force, Shinobi 3, Return of the Ninja Master, Sonic 2, Streets of Rage 2, and Strider.
Okay, just right out of the gate, launch lineup for this software, pretty fucking all-star cast.
Solid.
Like-
Where's Sonic 1, though?
No one cares about Sonic 1. Shut the fuck up. We have Sonic 2, Shinobi 3, Streets of Rage 2, Phantasy Star 4, and Golden Axe.
Gunstar Heroes.
Gunstar
like-
Heroes, like fuck. Rystar, Restar, Runestar.
And thanks to this service, Castlevania Bloodlines and Contra Hardcore have like a following of people that like enjoy this game now because they've been able to discover it. And like there's there's a lot more support for these Sega spin-offs of these games. So like this is
Okay.
a pretty stacked list of games.
I'm thankful that every game on the Genesis from here forward was released in both Japan and Western regions at the same time.
You're welcome.
Because
So I
Sega
don't have to make... Sega is better about that shit.
Somehow.
I guess.
Thanks, Sega.
On December 16th, 2021, we got Altered Beast, Dynamite Heady. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, or is it
Yeah.
Heady?
No, Hetty.
Eddie.
Okay. Sword of Vermilion, Thunder Force 2, and Toe Jam and Earl.
Solid.
Lennon, remember that time we tried to play Toe Jam and Earl?
I try to forget that every day I live.
We had no idea what we were doing. March 16th, 2022, we got Alien Soldier, Light Crusader, and Super Fantasy Zone. On April 21st, we got Shining Force 2, Sonic Spinball, and Space Hammer 2. Space Harrier 2. Jesus, Hammer. I'm sorry. It's a combination of my vision not
you're
being
doing your
great,
best.
and also I have dyslexia, so pardon me. On June 30th, we got Comics Zone, Mega Man The Wily Wars, Target Earth, and Zero Wing.
Zero Wing! All your base R belong to us!
Oh yeah, that's that game.
Yeah!
That's amazing. On September 15th, we got Alicia Dragoon, Beyond Oasis, and Earthworm Jim. On December 15th, we got Alien Storm, Columns, Golden Axe 2, and Virtua Fighter 2.
I'm noticing that all of these, they're like, it takes months for them to drop some games on here, but they do quite a few at once.
Yeah. In fact, it looks like almost every wave is like 3 or 4 at a time.
Yeah.
So,
Speaking of, April 18th.
April 18th, we got Flicky, Kid Chameleon,
20.
Pulseman, and Street Fighter 2 Special Champion Edition.
We're in 2023, by the way, in case that wasn't mentioned.
Yeah, April 18th, 2023. On June 27th, 2023, we got Crusader of Senti,
Yeah.
Ghouls and Ghosts, Landstalker, and The Revenge of Shinobi. On November 28th, 2024, a year and a half later,
Jeez.
a year and a half gap between waves is pretty crazy. We got Mercs, Toe Jam and Earl in Panic on Funkotron, and Vector Man.
It took them 3 years to put Vector Man on this shit.
And on April 11th, 2025, we got E-SWAT Under the Siege, Streets of Rage, and Super Thunderblade.
City under siege. You said under the siege.
City
Under
of
the
siege.
Under the
Under the siege.
Under the siege. Awesome.
Life is always
Okay.
better with a missile shot at me.
Under the siege.
Where the fuck is Sonic 1?
No one cares. It's dead. I
Okay.
mean, so here's the problem. Is there's a Genesis collection you can just buy.
Yes.
That is true.
So
But at the same
Anything-
time, this is a dedicated Genesis NSO. So like, I feel like the existence of a Genesis collection should not affect what games are on Genesis NSO.
And
I'm not saying it should, because a lot of these games are on that already.
Exactly.
now, to be fair, as solid a collection as the Genesis collection is, the emulation quality is not quite as good as the NSO apps. We didn't really talk too much about it, but I do want to touch on it like near the end. But like just across the board, the emulation quality on the NSO apps is like mostly really good. I mean, you get a little hit and miss and touchy with like N64, but outside of that, it's like really good emulation quality. So like you're getting better. You're probably better off playing it on here if you have the option.
So besides Sonic,
There's no other
because-
Phantasy Star games.
yeah, I was gonna say Phantasy Star 2 and 3 would be chill as fuck, or because it's just I have to sort it by alphabetical now to be able to rate it. We're missing Golden Axe 3. We're missing Shining in the Darkness.
Shining in the Darkness? Yeah.
Yeah.
Shining in the Darkness.
Where'd that be? And then Sonic, obviously, 1. And 3D Blast, the Genesis version, whatever. And then we'll never get it, but Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles, but
I would like to give a shout out though, specifically to one game on here out of my bias, and that is Pulse Man. That was a game we had not seen in North America since the Wii Virtual Console. And that, when it came out way back in on the Genesis, you couldn't even get it as like a regular game. It was only on the Sega channel, so it was like really, really hard to actually get and play. So like this is probably the most easily accessible, widespread way to play Pulse Man in North America. And it is made by Game Freak, and it was their game before Pokemon. So that's pretty cool.
and I think the other, like, there's no Vector Man 2.
Yeah, there's no Vector Man 2. Because we just got Vector Man 1, like, last year.
So, like, there's some stuff that, like, is missing, but, like, for the most part, as of right now, I'm pretty happy with the Genesis app. It has a lot of the RPGs that are available for the Genesis. Which has
Doing
been
what Nintendo don't, because Nintendo don't put RPGs on their service, apparently.
Not in America, at least. If you're in Japan, you've got some pretty good Fire Emblem and SMT games, though.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so, like, for the most part, the Genesis app, it does cover some different stuff than what is available on, like, the Genesis collection, but there is a couple things that I just wish was there. Also, like, no super columns? Come on.
Yeah, just why not?
Yeah.
Anything that you could point out, Jack? As far
Well,
as
I was going to ask where Sonic 3 is, but I already know the answer
we
to
all
that
know
question.
the answer to that one, unfortunately. Yeah.
I fucking hate just the limbo that the original Sonic 3 exists in with its original soundtrack.
Yeah.
I do just hate, but I don't hate Sonic 3. In fact, I love Sonic 3. But
so
anyway, I don't really have a whole lot to add.
Yeah.
I
So alongside the Game Boy and Game Boy Color, we got Game Boy Advance.
We got Game Boy Advance on February 8th, 2023. And it launched with not a whole lot. This is the smallest launch selection so far out of all of these consoles. But it launched with Kururin, The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap, Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, Mario Kart Super Circuit, Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3, and WarioWare Inc. Mega Micro Games.
I mean, for a launch lineup, if you're gonna go small, this is pretty good.
I'm surprised that they would start with Super Mario Advance 4, though.
I'm not.
I mean, no Metroid is weird, but...
No Metroid is weird, but literally a month later, on March 9th, we would get Metroid Fusion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can't complain too much. Also, no Fire Emblem, and this is the first system...
The first console where you can really say that.
Where we can actually have there is 2 American Fire Emblem games, so come on. But yeah,
spoilers. It gets fixed later.
Not all of it, though. Not all of it.
Anyway, I already mentioned Metroid Fusion. On May 25th, 2023, we got Super Mario Advance 1, which is Super Mario Bros. 2, USA. Super Mario World, Super Mario Advance 2. Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Advance 3.
So there's all the other Mario Advances.
Yeah. The other 3 Mario Advances a few months later, which is, like, that's cool.
Good drop.
I mean, all of those games were already available in their original forms on other NSOs, but
counterpoint. Cool. These versions are cool because they're the Game Boy Advance versions.
I can't argue there. I cannot argue with that. On June 23rd, 2023, on Sonic's Day, we got 2 Fire Emblem games. Yeah. And by we, I mean we got 1 Fire Emblem game and Japan got 2.
Yes.
Because the Binding Blade and the Blazing Blade, the former of which was Japan.
Nintendo cannot stop me. You cannot stop me, Nintendo.
Yeah. The Binding Blade is another situation as the Super Nintendo ones that came out only in Japan, where like they could have given them to us with just no translation, but they just didn't. And so like Japan got it, we didn't. Blazing Blade though was the first Fire Emblem game that we got, so like they actually gave us that game.
You can't stop me.
Landon
cannot be stopped.
Welcome to the NSO podcast plus Landon shows off his Fire Emblem collection podcast.
His Fire Emblem Japan exclusive collection.
Yes. I have a lot of the US as well. I'm missing, I think it's 3 releases. Technically 5, depends on how you want to count Fates. Because I only have one of the Fates releases. I don't have Birthright and Conquest separate. But I'm missing
you have, like, the combo one.
Yeah, I have the triple pack. Yeah. I'm missing Gaiden, the original Gaiden, Tharcia 776, and the second Fire Emblem released on the DS, Mystery of the new mystery of the emblem or something that it's called.
Yeah,
that one was a Japan exclusive. So currently, those are the only releases I'm missing. But I'm almost done collecting all Fire Emblem.
Hell yeah!
All right, Jack, keep it going.
On September 29th, we got Kirby in the Amazing Mirror.
Nice.
On
Give
January
us 7th, Nightmare in Dreamland, you cowards.
I honestly.
True.
On January 17th, 2024, we got Golden Sun and Golden Sun The Lost Age, dropping them both on the same day, which is badass.
Are you ready to get fuming, Jack?
I was going to say, are you ready for a bad drop? On February 21st, 2024, Mother 3 was released in Japan only.
Come on, Reggie!
Come on, Reggie! Reggie,
come on,
what are
Reggie.
You doing? Give us Mother 3.
Exactly.
On March 29th, 2024, we got F-Zero Maximum Velocity. On June 18th, we got The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, and Four Swords. And Metroid Zero Mission. On July 12th... Ooh, this is a good one. We got the Densetsu no Starfy games, 1, 2, and 3, in all regions. I'm so thankful that they did not make these Japan exclusive. I would have been very sad.
Yeah, this was the first time I think we got the Starfy games before the DS over here too to play without having to like import them.
Yeah,
so
and
pretty cool.
that was on July 12th of 2024. On August 9th, we got Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team.
Once again, you can have
anything but the mainline games.
Any Pokemon game but the mainline games.
If you're gonna give us anything but the mainline games, then give us fucking Pinball Ruby and Sapphire, man.
Yes. Please. It is the only other GBA Pokemon game that's not the mainline series. Just fucking do it.
On October 11th, we got F-Zero Climax and F-Zero GP Legend.
They've given us every F-Zero game.
Hey, Landon. GP.
I think it's really funny that NSO has provided us with like every F-Zero game.
Yeah, and once we get the GameCube one, it will be literally every F-Zero game.
That's awesome.
That's actually pretty sick. On February 14th, Valentine's Day this year, we got Wario Land 4, the greatest gift that you could give your loved one. I brought up to Bethany that like they released Wario Land 4 on Valentine's Day for NSO, and she was like fully down to play it, and I'm just like, oh wait, I wasn't like, we don't have to do that. Like, you know,
but she insisted.
Like I would love to, but
did she force you anyway?
Now you got her invested.
And very recently, on April 22nd, we got Fire Emblem: The Sacred Stones.
Yep.
And that is it for GBA so far.
Now,
obviously, a lot of stuff missing, but they're definitely going to put more out in the future.
Unfortunately, once again, no mainline Pokemon because we can't have nice things. But also, once again, Square Enix, what the fuck? There are so many games that you guys own that could be on here.
Honestly,
there's actually no third parties for
yeah.
It is exclusively Nintendo published titles,
which is a shame.
Interesting.
I mean, Nintendo's output on here is really good.
Crazy.
I will say, but like it really is a shame that like there's nobody else that has games on here. Sonic Advance, come on, Sega, please.
Like we literally have Sega, we have a Genesis NSO. There's no reason why we can't have the Sonic Advance games on GBA.
You're not going to put them anywhere else.
Easy.
Just fucking give us Sonic Advance on NSO.
Like if you're not going to put them on NSO, give us a fucking trilogy. Like give us not a remaster. Like it can just be a port. Give us a trilogy in one package.
I wonder if they have to like wrangle rights for publishing back from THQ, because THQ published the games back then.
Shit, yeah, I forgot about that.
Come on, THQ.
Come on, wait, didn't THQ go under?
Oh, you know what? Yeah. I wonder if Sega was able to get the rights back or not. They might not have been. Sega's historically not the best.
Does that make the Sonic Advance games lost media?
Oh no, I think it does, bro.
No, I think like the rights have to go to Sega. Like once THQ went under. I mean, like if THQ doesn't exist as a company, then who owns the rights to those games?
There is a possibility that no one does. Like even though it's Sonic, it doesn't matter. Like this could be a situation where nobody has the rights to publish that game.
That's insane to me.
But yeah, no third parties. That's interesting. There's a lot of good games that are third parties that could be on here.
Give us Shining Force.
Landon holding a Shining Force cartridge. Give us the Bionicle game.
Ooh,
for GBA.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot that has not been added yet that obviously needs to be, but like there is definitely still time. You know, the GBA, like the Game Boy and Game Boy Color NSOs are both pretty new, so give it time. We'll have more in the future. I want Nightmare in Dreamland though. Real shit.
All right, so those are the currently available systems, but alongside the launch of the Switch 2 on June 5th, 2025, we are getting GameCube on Switch 2.
GameCube. So far, the only confirmed launch titles for GameCube NSO are F-Zero GX, The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, and Soul Calibur 2, which, I mean, if you're going to launch with just 3 games, that's a pretty good 3 games to start with. With confirmed future releases for Chibi Robo, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, Luigi's Mansion, Pokemon Colosseum, and XD Gale of Darkness, Super Mario Strikers, and Super Mario Sunshine.
So,
anything but the mainline Pokemon games.
Anything but mainline Pokemon games. You got it.
Obviously, the GameCube NSO is not out yet, so we can't really say like, hey, come on, Nintendo, why haven't you added fucking Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg yet? There's still
Nintendo,
time.
release Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, or I will pee.
Or P.
Sega, Super Monkey Ball. Come on, man.
Oh, absolutely. Both Super Monkey Balls, honestly.
Mario Kart Double Dash, honestly, only a matter of time. They put every other Mario Kart game on this shit so far, so like I could see Double Dash coming in.
The one that people will be clamoring for, though, is Melee.
Oh yeah,
people.
I doubt that'll happen.
But the thing, like they haven't even put Smash 64 out yet on N64. Like I feel like if they're gonna do Melee, they'd have to do Smash 64 first, and they haven't even done that.
Yeah.
Which means I have a bad feeling that Landon's right. Like it's funny that like when we first thought about like GameCube NSO, like the first game that comes to mind is Melee, but the problem with that is like that requires context about stuff that should have happened that hasn't happened yet, and is probably a reason that we will not get them. So
yeah.
But yeah, that's all of the currently confirmed and supported platforms. So I want to just ask a few questions, and that is overall thoughts on the catalog so far across both the base and expansion pass tiers.
Yeah, it's pretty good. My biggest qualms come from the newest systems, Game Boy Advance, because I mean they've only been in service for 2 years. So I want more. Give me more.
Yeah.
I will say Nintendo has put in a lot of effort to make these Game Boy Advance library really good for what it is off of just a couple years. Because, like, the Game Boy has a lot of missing shit that could be on there. But, like, I think there's, at least for what Nintendo's done, there's less glaring omissions on GBA.
You know, here's a good GBA game, Drill Dozer.
Yeah, it's good. That's a good choice. Should be a game that's on there too.
It's like $100 to buy.
Yeah.
So Nintendo,
that's a game that should go on there.
I don't want to spend $100. Come on.
If you're just getting a Switch and like you're subscribing to the NSO, like whether or not you get the base or the expansion pass tier, there is a lot to play on here now. Obviously, when each of the systems launched, the selections were not like all that great, but over time, thanks to their constant drip feed, it's grown to a respectable level, I would say. I think that's a respectable output is how I would summarize the current library. We've already talked about individual games on different platforms, but is there any systems that you would say stick out as systems you would like them to add support for in the future?
Saturn. I mean, they have Genesis already, so like, I feel like that's kind of a no-brainer.
I think Sega could easily go full stop on this and give us. No, they're gonna stop. They're gonna remove the Genesis. Saturn, Master System, Game Gear all seem like pretty smart choices. Like you could do
They could
Master
do
System and Game
they could-
Gear at the standard tier, and then add Saturn at the higher tier for the.
And then they
expansion
could
pass.
do for Switch 2 exclusive, they could do Dreamcast.
Yeah, so that would be awesome. That'd be really cool. TurboGrafx, so I can force Jack to play Dungeon Explorer with me.
Yeah.
You know. As much as I'd love to see DS, Wii, 3DS, and Wii U on this thing,
I don't see it happening.
not happening. Not, like, maybe Switch 3. Like, that would be my guess, is as long as they continue, like, to keep this, like, this NSO as their thing going forward until the heat death of the universe, like, eventually we'll get, like, maybe some of these systems, but even, like, DS, 3DS, it's a little bit hard.
Yeah,
They were...
because the thing is like, I could see them doing DS, 3DS if they did a weird update with the Switch 2 where, like, it could be turned vertically in order to and split the system screen in half in order to play it.
There
Like, you
are
could
some
have-
games that support vertical play, though,
Yeah.
on Switch 1, so it's not out of the question.
Yeah, so it's like, it's not unheard of. They could do that as like a whole like system wide or software thing to accommodate that. I see Wii as less likely only because they would definitely just be more interested in just porting the games over outright and just reselling them like they did with Switch 1.
Yeah.
They did that with quite a few games there. So I see them just doing that. And then Wii U, I see as probably the least likely because they literally just ported a shit ton of Wii U games to Switch anyway.
There's a couple missing games, but like it's like Nintendo Land, Game and Wario, Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, Star Fox Zero, Star Fox Guard, the NES Remix Pack.
Yoshi's Woolly World, which is rumored to be like something that might actually be coming because like some people saw snippets in like one of the trailers. So
yeah, I would love that because it's tied to the Wii U and 3DS with Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World, but still, like that game's phenomenal, much better than Crafted World in my opinion. It's a much better game. So, like, there's a little bit of Wii U stuff that didn't make the jump. I guess Super Mario Maker 1, Splatoon 1, but, like, actually Splatoon 1 would be interesting if it supported online. If you could actually, like, play online with that. And same with Super Mario Maker, if you could, like, if the online components could transfer over. But if not, then those two games are not super worth it.
So yeah, for me, like you already mentioned most of the stuff, like I think it would be really cool to just see Sega just go all in and just like put a bunch of their other platforms. Hot take though, I think it'd be really cool. Not just, I know this would probably, if this were to happen, it would be like Japan only, but I swear to God, they shouldn't do that and they should actually just give us WonderSwan. Just do it.
Fuck it, why not?
Just give us WonderSwan. Give us a bunch of those games. I think it'd be cool.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you mentioned TurboGrafx, that'd be a really good one. Sega Master System would be really good. So yeah, I could see Dreamcast if Sega really wanted to like full send and have like a Switch 2 exclusive one. I could see Dreamcast being a thing. Just like you could have your Shenmue, your Space Channel 5. Give us back Sonic Adventure if you're not going to put them on the GameCube versions out on that. Just that'd be interesting. Actually, I have to ask a question, Jack. What would you prefer? Would you prefer they gave us a Dreamcast exclusive NSO app or a Dreamcast NSO app and put Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 on that? Or would you prefer the GameCube versions on the GameCube NSO?
The thing is I already have so many fucking versions of both games that I kind of don't care. I mean, ideally, we get Sonic Adventure 1 Dreamcast and Sonic Adventure 2 on the GameCube, but if I had to choose, I would say both GameCube, just because there is like added content to both games that would be missed out on. Mostly, if nothing else, for the multiplayer in Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
Yeah. So. And then speaking of which, might as well get into it. GameCube games. We already know some of them, but there's so many that they could probably put out there. Are there any GameCube games that stick out besides stuff we've mentioned that you would like to see?
Madden 08.
Madden 08. God, what was the name of that fucking soccer game that, like, Oh, God, what was the name of that game?
I would say the big stuff I want, if they're not going to give us like a Prime 2 and Prime 3 remakes, I would love Prime 2 added to NSO. We mentioned Billy Hatcher, want that. Four Swords Adventure, which we brought up in the last podcast, want that.
I would honestly rather have just straight up remasters of Prime 2 and 3.
Well, yeah, I'm saying if they're not going to give that to us.
I know, but at the same time, I have to feel like they will, because, like, I don't see them remaking Prime 1 and then just giving Prime 2 the short end of the stick and just saying, nah, you get an NSO release, but not a full remake.
I do, because I don't believe. I don't believe in Santa Claus, so that means
for all we know,
is going to screw over Prime 2 Echoes.
For all we know, they could be skipping on redoing Prime 2 and 3, and they could be working on Prime 5. We don't know.
I hate that.
Kind of doubt that.
Listen,
Prime 5 coming.
They spent so much time on making Prime 4. There's no way they don't have resources that they're going to put into another project. Why not a Prime 5?
Prime 5 coming 2037.
Yes. Nah, I see it coming sooner, honestly. As long as Prime 4 does go well.
Oh.
Yeah, we're going to get Prime 5 before Prime 4. Yeah, that's pretty much everything we all said. I'm sure. Landon, did you mention other GameCube games you'd like to see?
Yes, I said Billy Hatcher
pretty much
like 18 times in a row. I just sat here and I was like, Billy Hatcher, Billy Hatcher.
Is that the
Billy
only
Hatcher,
one?
Billy Hatcher, Billy Hatcher. I mean, no, because I also said Four Swords Adventure. Those are the only two. I mean,
we got Mario Golf
games.
Toadstool Tour.
You asked me what games I was looking forward to.
True.
You know what?
Oh, is he gonna... What is he about to show us?
They can give us this. I'll allow it.
The Zelda
Master
Quest. Ocarina of Time. Why not?
I only have so many GameCube games sitting right next to me. And I already showed off Path of Radiance. So.
Show it off again.
Okay.
Show us Path of Radiance. Even though it's already been confirmed that it will be coming.
Yeah,
there you go.
There it is. Good answer, Steve.
Nice. All right, so that is everything that we could talk about in terms of games for NSO. But do we have any like wish lists of just like stuff outside of the software, like stuff that they could add to like the benefits package, like they've been doing with like DLC stuff, or just stuff in general? Because NSO encompasses a lot. There's a lot
I
of
mean,
stuff.
they've got like cloud saves for backup saves, but not all games support that. They have there's a list of things. They have some exclusive discounts, but it's weird how it works. I would, especially since they're getting rid of the gold, like the gold coin system on the eShop. That's like being retired as we're talking about, like posting this. I would want something like PlayStation Plus, where if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you get additional sales like off of games, like an extra 10% would be cool. Like if you're like a, you know, whatever, like even if it's like locked to expansion pass members, like additional off of digital games would help with that being removed, the gold coin system. So
Yeah.
there's some stuff that they could do to make it worth the money. That said, this is the cheapest of the online subscription service options out of, PlayStation, Microsoft, Nintendo. So, and then other companies, for whatever reason, also have fucking Uplay and EA Access and fucking whatever dumb shit
Yeah.
some of those others have. So,
how much is PS Plus now for a year subscription? $80?
Depends on which tier you're at, because there's one tier that's
So,
like 125.
There's like 120 or 130 or something like that. Yeah.
So
and then Game Pass is
yeah,
Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate, which are
Game
really
Pass
high
Ultimate
up
is up there. So this is for what it is. Are we getting new games for free? No, but
unfortunately not.
There is still some very good quality games from Nintendo's catalog that we do get access to as part of the system. So,
and unlike the Sony and Microsoft offerings, with the exception of that one game, we haven't gotten stuff removed. They've only been building. You get new games, and they've only taken away one game out of the couple hundred games you have access to. So,
as of right now, let's hope it stays that way.
Yeah, take that as you will. I'm sure that'll probably change in the coming years, but as of now, there's only been one game taken off out of a couple hundred. So, an ever-growing library of games to play from classic systems. So, yeah, $50.
This is the only online subscription service for video games I still pay for.
And that says something from Mr. All Physical.
Would I rather just have compilation collections of NES, Super Nintendo, Game Boy Advance games?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that shit. I love compilation packages. I love buying those, even if I don't even know 2/3 of the games, just because it's fucking cool. So, but this service is whatever. I live with it every day.
We all do. It is on our Switch Home menu.
Unfortunately, I can't get rid of it.
So yeah, Jack, final thoughts?
I think we've said all we need to.
But final thoughts for you. How do you feel
about NSO in general?
Yeah.
I think part of me still misses Virtual Console.
Yeah. We didn't get to talk about Virtual Console.
Yeah, because let's be real, this is basically Nintendo's answer to replacing Virtual Console as a whole fucking thing. And part of me misses Virtual Console because I like having, a specific game downloaded onto my system that I will have until the system itself dies. The NSO ends when the live service ends, but at the same time, Nintendo is continuing with the live service for the entire next console generation, so as long as they keep it going, I'm pretty cool with it, as a replacement for the Virtual Console, because, with the subscription fee, everything that you get is free. It's all free, which is crazy.
Yeah, you just get it all with your subscription, no additional cost.
Yeah,
so it's
it's so many games. You have to pay your yearly subscription, but it's so many games that you get for that price. So, yeah.
All right.
That's pretty much my closing thoughts.
So yeah, I already said my piece. So, we want to catch up and talk about what we've been up to the past month, because we didn't get to talk about that stuff last episode.
You got 10 seconds each. Go.
10 seconds each. Wow.
Rude as fuck.
I'm the one who has
Hey,
to edit the podcast.
I know. I'll make it quick.
All right, Landon, you got 5 seconds.
Shortly
That's
after we recorded the previous podcast was my birthday, and also
Yay.
Landon's birthday.
Yay.
I turned 30, which
Oof.
means I'm the last gaming stooge to turn 30. All of us are in our 30s. We're old men.
Yay!
We're old, stinky, gross men.
Cloud's
Just kidding,
almost a corpse at
just-
this point.
That's just me. I'm the only stinky, gross one. But yeah, I mean, I didn't really do anything on my birthday, honestly. But I did do some stuff around my birthday. The day before, me and some friends went to go see Pink Floyd live at Pompeii in IMAX, which was fucking sick. It's been ages since I've seen anything in IMAX, and I forgot just how fucking gigantic the screen is. It's insane. And the restoration and the audio quality on the concert was really good for it being over 50 years old. Let's see. I did go to a couple of local shows the weekend of my birthday. On Tuesday, the 29th, me and the same friends went to go see Revenge of the Sith in theaters for its 20th anniversary. Fucking great movie. Love that movie. It's so fun. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes or so long, but it just like flies by. It's ridiculous how fun that movie is. But also, I'm nostalgic because I was a 10-year-old when that movie came out, and I have that nostalgic connection to it. Let's see. The May 1st, I went to Chicago with the same group of friends again to go see Tribulation and Unto Others. And then the last week or so has been pretty slow. I haven't done that much, but I've been playing a little bit of Penny's Big Breakaway. I haven't had a whole lot of time to play it, but I have cleared through the first 3 worlds, so I am making some progress in it. It's fun so far. I've run into a couple of glitches where I just clip through the wall and die, which is pretty funny. But overall, it's been fun. I like the whole like momentum based platforming and like the whole combo system that the game has, and there are some points where I feel like the controls are just a little bit weird, but it's never like super invasive, honestly. Like sometimes I feel like I pressed a button to do something and then like nothing really happened and then I end up dying as a result, but like it's fun. I like it. And that's about it. That's all I got.
Okay, so I'll mention something that Jack did not mention that is something that can apply to all of us, but Switch 2 pre-orders happened since the last time.
Yeah, that did happen.
And we all managed to get our own pre-orders separately. We all had different circumstances. Jack, how did yours go?
You say managed like Lennon had to do anything aside from text Keegan.
Listen,
I didn't even have to text him.
He texted you.
Yeah.
I managed to get one, and you managed to get one. Landon just happened.
Landon has that connection because he worked for GameStop for over a decade.
Under a decade.
Under a decade. That's the benefit he gets.
Yeah. But tell me how yours went.
It went pretty okay. I waited. I decided to go to because the GameStop that I used to go to all the time, the one that was like across the street from where I worked at Meijer, that one shut down during COVID. So I have since not really been shopping at GameStop that much, but I decided to go to the GameStop inside the mall right next to where I work. I pretty much I showed up at the mall parking lot at like 9:30 in the morning, and I just kind of like waited in my car to see if like people would like line up outside of the mall. I don't know if they let people in early or not, but I went inside like right at 10 a.m. when they opened, and there was already like probably 25 people ahead of me.
Most malls
Wow.
let people in early. At least, like, when I worked at a mall, like, you can walk in the mall, like, several hours earlier than
But
when
the
stores
are not open.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I probably should have considered that. But either way, I wasn't in long for super long. I say not super long. It was like 45 minutes. Because there was two fuckers in line that brought Xboxes with them to trade in. And I'm just like, why not just do this when you buy the system? Like, do it when you actually, like, pick it up.
That's
like, this is so dumb to do it, like, the morning of the pre-order launch, you know?
I would feel so embarrassed to be that person doing that in front of a line of people. Like, come on, man.
That is textbook. Like, I could have told you that would have happened.
Landon's like happens all the time.
It literally
just, like, not giving a fuck.
Literally any time, any major release, you were like, or any major sale, fucking Black Fridays, people will just come in and be like, here's my system I want to trade in. When you have a line out the door and you're just like, no.
Come back later, please.
Come back in 3 weeks when no. You still have to obviously help these people.
Yeah, that's the I hate, like, it's an unfortunate thing where I work as well, where, like, a lot of the people that come in through my front door are only interested in selling things and not interested in buying things. They just want to sell off some shitty records that they found in their attic or their basement, or they belong to a dead loved one, or they found them in a storage unit or an estate sale or what have you. They're just here to sell shit. But the thing is I can just tell them, all right, give me your name and phone number. We'll call you back when we have an offer ready. At GameStop, they have to sit there and actually give them an offer on the spot, which is ass.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Jack, continue your experience with getting the Switch.
Oh, it was pre-order. Like I waited in line for like 45 minutes. It was pretty chill. The only really thing of note was when I got to the counter and I told the cashier, like, yeah, I want a standard system and then a physical copy of Mario Kart World. And then, like, one of the other cashiers was like, you can just get the bundle and save $30. Like, obviously, like, half jokingly, but also, like, trying to just sell the bundle to me. And I'm just like, nah, I want the game physically. Like, I'll spend the extra $30 to have it on cartridge. And that was pretty much it. Not really too much happened. I successfully pre-ordered one, so yeah, I'll be back there in about a month from now to pick it up.
My experience was a little weird, so, like, I tried to stay up the night when they did opening pre-orders online, and well, how much do I need to say on trying to get a pre-order online? It was a fucking mess.
I didn't even bother.
I tried. I was on Best Buy. I was on GameStop until I realized that GameStop was not doing online pre-orders until, like, the next morning. I tried going on Walmart. I got into queue on Walmart, and I got all the way to getting it in my cart, and then my card got rejected, because my card always gets rejected when I try to make a large payment like that all in one go. And so the thing is because it wasn't during the operating hours of my bank, I didn't get the text for the fraud confirmation until the next morning, so I couldn't even check out on Walmart. So I decided, fuck it. I went over to Best Buy. I was sitting in a queue, and I fell asleep because I was in the queue for like a half hour. So, like, I fell asleep. I woke up. I tried to get a pre-order through GameStop's website, which just kept crashing and just displaying over and over that, like, they didn't have the pre-order available when they opened it up. So, like, I said, all right, screw it. So I just did my stream that day for Final Fantasy, and then I went in after the stream, I walked into my GameStop 2.5 hours after they had already opened, and they were like, "Yeah, we got a bunch of pre-orders for both the Switch and the Switch with Mario Kart World Bundle. Which one you want?" I was like, "I'll save the $30. I'll get it bundled in digitally. Like if I want the physical copy later, or if I go in and I'll ask them if maybe they still have one on reserve and change my reservation over. But like, I just wanted to get one of them, and I figured I would just get that one just in case. But it was super easy when I walked in. No line, nothing. Just walked in and just grabbed it and just like walked out. I was like, that was really easy. I wasted so much time online the night before. So yeah.
Imagine going into a store.
Couldn't be you.
I
didn't even go into a store.
You didn't even have to go. You didn't even have to be the person to initiate.
Nah.
I think, Landon, out of every single person who had to pre-order this, who successfully pre-ordered a Switch 2, who successfully pre-ordered a Switch 2, you had probably the single easiest time because you did absolutely nothing aside from just... I mean, obviously... like, you know, because you worked at GameStop, you had that opportunity, blah, blah, blah. But, like, you received a text from Keegan.
And I just told him what I wanted. Yeah, I was just like...
And that was
Which was almost everything. Just like... That's why he texted you, because he knew he was going to get a lot of money out of you.
Well, I already talked to him about it. I'm like, just let me know when they go live. I'll have stuff ready for you. And he was like, okay. And, you know, it was... good to know. At first, I wasn't going to end... Like, at first, he didn't pre-order my 3 copies of The Legend of Heroes Trails in Beyond the Horizon. And then he double-checked the system because I was like, they're on the website, Keegan. I know they're in your system. So, that was what was more important to me, was getting those PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch 1 pre-orders for the next Trails game.
Thank God you got that.
Yeah, the Switch 2, whatever. I didn't really care about that. I got the Trails games. Things that are not Switch 2 related. Here's a list of games I have played and or beaten since the last time we did this. I don't care about you. We have so much time left, and I'm going to go quick. I beat Penny's Big Breakaway. I played and beat Little Kitty Big City. I beat Neva. I beat Chance of Sonar. I beat a run in Metal Slug Tactics. I started Pepper Grinder, got to the first boss, got frustrated. I started Wizardry, Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord, and my team wiped to like the 4th encounter. And so now I am going back and playing more of Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus. Okay, you can talk about whatever you want now, Cloud.
Oh, I've just been playing a bunch of Pokemon in my Analog Pocket. I bought Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth off the eShop because it was on like a huge sale for like $5. So I've been playing that. I also played more Dragon Quest XI S on my Switch. That's been a lot of fun. I bought Sea of Stars because it was $15 at work, and I figured, why the fuck not? Eventually, I will want to play this game. I played a demo and liked it, so why not?
You should want to play it right now.
Later. You said there's free DLC coming up soon.
Yeah.
By the time this goes out, it's like literally the day after or whatever.
Yeah. So right now.
Right now.
You want to play it right now.
And that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to say. That's it.
Okay.
Yep.
Now that it's actually my turn. Play Chance of Sonar. That game is fucking phenomenal. I'm going to be talking about it during our year in the review to remind everyone, but that game was so fun. As a quick snapshot premise, your character wakes up in a tower where there's 5 different groups of people, each one with their own unique language, and you have to parse together each group's like individual language as you try to climb the tower, solve puzzles along the way. It was a lot of fun. So if you like puzzle games and using your brain, well, you're probably you're listening to the wrong podcast, but Chance of Sonar, a lot of fun. Yeah. Cloud's looking at me like doesn't sound like it.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I get picky with like some games nowadays because it's like there's just so much to play.
Well, I'm telling you, it was one that I had fun with. And hey, I have no qualms with dropping a game super easy or super quick. Like Pepper Grinder, I was like, oh, this game's fun, and then the first boss killed me like 20 times.
Jesus.
And I even, like, for like one of the runs, you can buy additional like health temp health slots, and if you die, those are just gone, and that's a bunch of money just fucking wasted. So I was like, well, I'm just not going to play this game, I guess. And like, there's no like invincibility frames. Like, the boss you will just take damage from the boss multiple times, and you can only take 4 hits before you die. And there's no checkpoints in that first boss fight. So it was like, I'm good.
Oh, cool. So it's worse about that than Tunic.
Yeah. Hey, Tunic had an option for to go God mode. So I'll give
True.
Tunic that.
True.
Pepper Grinder does not have a God mode. I looked. So there's that.
I'm sure you did after dying 19 of those times.
I scoured the options to see if there was an easy mode. Any sort of difficulty slider. Nothing. So I was like, you know what? I don't have to sit and grind against this. I can just I can play something else until I want to go back to Tears of the Kingdom. So there we go. Anyway.
And speaking of doing something else, you guys should listen to some other podcast episode, because we're going to sign off for tonight, and we'll see you guys next time. Roll the outro. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Jack, you know this bit's going to happen again. You still haven't talked to us about High and Low. What's your total review for it? Go.
High and Low is a Japanese film released in 1962, directed by Akira Kurosawa, starring...
Okay, bye! Thank you for listening to the Gaming Stooges Talks podcast. If you enjoyed us, consider subscribing to our podcast RSS feed, or follow us on youtube.com/GamingStooges and twitch.tv/GamingStooges for more gaming content. If you'd like to chat with us, join our Discord. The link can be found in the episode description. We also want to thank all of our Patreon supporters. Your continued support means a lot to us. Not already one? Please take a look at what we have to offer anyone who becomes a patron at patreon.com/GamingStooges. See you next time!